And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog back with the UFC Vegas 71 breakdown show with Lou Betya and just my 2 cents. What did I do wrong?
It's not Vegas 71. It's Las Vegas.
Oh, it's UFC Las Vegas
71 is in 3 weeks.
because it's not an Apex. Okay. Well, just the title. UFC Las Vegas because it's live from the theater in Virgin Hotels. So there's going to be like 500 people at this thing or something like that. At least there'll be a crowd of some sort. Johnny Be Great in the chat very early. Aaron the Cat here. Let's go crazy. Moist indeed. Lou, how are you doing today? How are you doing off last week?
Big week last week. Hit the props. Did not get too heavily invested in the Valentina fight. Glad I didn't. And I only had the split decision props on the main event. But looking forward to this card. The one thing I have not confirmed, maybe one of you two knows, I don't know if this is the small cage or not.
I would assume so. If theater shows typically have the smaller cage.
That's what I figured. But it's favorite heavy card, but there are some fighters on this card that I really weirdly like. Glad that Carlston Harris is back on the card. Always like watching him fight. I love Davey Grant fights. I'm excited for Dumas. I'm excited for a guy who's my age and Guido Canetti to be fighting.
Yeah, that's always good.
And I'm once again sort of excited for Span Krylov. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see if anybody has a tummy ache today. Speaking of tummy aches, just my 2 cents. How's your tummy feeling and how are you?
My tummy is doing pretty good. What's up, boys? Aaron, thank you for having me once again. Lewis, how are you? I like calling you Lewis. I just feel like that's a
we've lost it now.
Nice douchebag thing to do. But
Lewis Betya.
Yeah, Lewis bet you. What's up, boys? Shout out to the chat. I'm doing well. Lou, I love that you asked me about the fucking size of the cage. I didn't even know it wasn't at the Apex. So but what's up, boys?
Yeah, I love it. Mick in here, Johnny Be Great, been in here from the jump. He was first in line. Yeah, so in case anybody doesn't know, Jared Gooden, I'm sure you know by the time you're watching. If you are watching live, though, Jared Gooden taking on Carlston Harris. Short notice. I would assume a catchweight because Jared Gooden walks around enormous and Carlston Harris is a gangster. So really quick, we're going to actually go into that fight. So I'm going to have to kind of navigate around here because Tapology, believe it or not, is not updated yet, which, it happens. Jesus Hernandez in the building, calling Lewis as well. That's great. It is Lou Betya. Lewis is not here. He's only going to be here for pay-per-views with his job and everything right now, at least. So, but
Aaron, they have a lineup for the fight. They just put it up.
Would you mind revealing that line to us?
Carlston Harris is minus 260.
That's a damn shame. I was hoping for 100 less than that. I was hoping for minus 170. Yeah, Carlston Harris, I like the guy. I bet him against Shavkat Rakhmonov, okay? I will say that more than anybody for the rest of the time that I made that bet. But while that bet did not turn out well that night, clearly, it does let you kind of know how confident I am in Harris. I was all over him against Abukar, I'll be honest. I felt Abukar has very lazy, double knee takedowns, not double leg takedowns. He'll go to both his knees and duck. It was tailor-made for a front choke for Harris, in my opinion. And even in this matchup, I'll be interested. He is 35 years old, got over to UFC very late in his career, but saw him over with UAE, beat a very high-level opponent, darsed him up. He's been over with Brave back in the days, faced a good level of opponents, underrated in the striking, but I think particularly his grappling is really, really slick. 2 finishes in the UFC before getting finished by Shavkat. Just kind of a tough break with Ramaziev Rahamaj being paired up in February and then March. Abukar, I think both those matchups were really favorable. Now going against Mr. Jared Gooden. Gooden, big hitter. He's very big for the division, which is why I do think this will be a catchweight. He's earned his way back since being out of the UFC. He did lose to Impa Kasagane in the middle of there, but a couple wins over decent level guys, including Curtis Melender. Well, remember Curtis Melender? Remember when he was a thing? DeMarcus Johnson, he stomped him out, which is something, got an injury. So with this one, I do think it is KO or bust for Gooden. I mean, Harris has been training, and both guys in their mid-30s. So for me, I do think Harris gets to win. I think Gooden probably slows down towards the end. First glance, I would say Harris by late TKO, second or third round. Lou.
Yeah, I'll be looking at the ITD props there. I love Carlston Harris, man. And I also had a poke on him against Shavkat, which looks so silly in retrospect. But I like his style. He's well-rounded. Gooden short notice. Hey, man, Gooden's a vet, though. Like, I don't think the short notice is going to bother him as much as most guys here. We saw Ode make his return recently. Successful, looked all right against a short notice opponent. So, we'll see what Gooden does here, but I'm interested in Harris. But what I'll add is on the DFS side of things, typically when you have a fight and it gets canceled and there's a replacement, they don't touch the salaries. So Carlston, we call this the free square. Carlston Harris is 8,300 on DraftKings because he's a small favorite against Nurmagomedov. He's an absolute must play in all your lineups. He's getting because you're getting a guy that probably should have been priced. If you're a minus 260 favorite, you're going to be priced like Petr Yan's 9,000 to give you an example, 9,200. So that's what Harris should have been priced at. You're getting him at a steal at 8,300. So like whether
he's also extremely aggressive and gets his finishes typically in his wins.
Oh yeah, well on his 2 wins, he put up 94 and 110 respectfully. So he'd get more than 10x his salary. He's a must play, especially line versus what his salary is. So that's all I got.
And against Christian Aguilera, kind of the most similar of the two of the opponents, he did go to the grappling when he needed to as well. So even though I have the TKO, I do think that depending on if this is a catchweight, if this is 170, I really like Harris by the TKO.
And Imp is the common opponent. So
Impa knocked him out, dude. Impa not knocking out a lot of people.
Impa knocked out Gooden.
Right, exactly. And he got knocked out by Carlston.
So. I know MMA math doesn't always work out, but
no. Yeah, I get the line the more I think about this. Again, found out about this fight about 10, 15 minutes before showtime. 2 cents, do you have a lean initially on this one?
Definitely. I can't add too much to what y'all said. That's good stuff. I'm on the Harris side as well. It's not that Gooden is shitty. Like Lou said, he's a veteran. I just think they have they have similar opponents. The Impa fight is a common opponent, and they both had losses to not super great competition. I just think Harris's ceiling is higher. I do think, although Gooden hits hard, I think Harris is the better striker. He also has good front chokes if Gooden gets tired and decides to go to the wrestling. And if Harris gets on top of him, dude, he'll go to that fucking arm triangle too. So I don't know, man. I like Harris kind of wherever it goes. If he decides to stand in the pocket and trade cannon fire with Gooden, that's giving Jared an opportunity for the upset. But I'm gonna go Harris and probably think he finishes him too.
Yeah, no, I trust IQ. He's been off quite a bit of time since that Shavkat wheel kick. So, all right, we'll move on to at least the second fight currently on the card. I'm gonna give Moise a little credit real quick, because we don't need a reason to give Moise credit, but he's planned to seed Mark Kilomako just got added to UFC roster watch. Really good LFA flyweight. These are 2 old flyweights who pull out a lot of fights. Tyson Nam is almost 40, and Bruno Silva has pulled out of his fair share. Would not be surprised if Kilomako is stepping in for one of these guys. So we might be on kind of 2 short notice fights to start out. But as of now, as of Wednesday at 2 p.m., Tyson Nam taking on Bruno Silva. I think it's going to be a good fight. Honestly, I think it's very close. Bruno Silva only 32. I don't know why I thought he was a little bit older. A lot of fight ready guys on this card. Knocked out JP Buys in the second round, and then put a beating on Victor Rodriguez. Seems like he's kind of figured out from early in his career when he got choked out by a roided up Taha, which that's not that's not his fault. Taha was on all the sauce in the world. Dvorak, he just didn't put the pedal to the metal. Same with the Tagir Ulanbekov fight. Both those fights, just like he was not aggressive, and all of a sudden now he's very, very aggressive. But he's going against a guy in Tyson Nam who just like is just finding ways to kind of defy the flyweight division at 39 years old. The Ode Osborne fight, especially, I think was a fight that I was particularly on Nam, and a lot of people were on Osborne. Like Osborne was a lot of people's kind of one of their favorites going in, and Nam just, picks his spots really well with the counter shots, especially early on with the power. That gives me some kind of pause against a guy in Silva who's been successful by becoming more aggressive. Also, like he kind of can do that split decision game. And I mean, the Matt Schnell fight was really, really close as well. And yeah, it's just these guys this could be really, really entertaining. This could be really frustrating of a fight. This is definitely kind of one of the spots where I think the dog gets appealing in Tyson Nam for sure on a card where there's not a lot of dogs. I am still going to go with Bruno Silva though. There's the 7-year age difference main kind of thing for me. Also, I just do think that Silva is pretty good defensively against kind of the weapons that Nam has to offer here. So I'm going to edge Silva. I think it's going to be a close fight. But yeah, no, I can't get behind a bet on either side, at least for me. 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this flyweight matchup?
So I kind of agree with you, doggy. I kind of agree with you. Like, I'm a little worried about Nam's power, but I'm fading the 40-year-old dude. I think like Ode looked pretty good until he lost, and I think, like you said, Silva's a little bit more defensively responsible, and Silva cracks, man. Like, you go back and I know this was a long time ago, but you go back and watch Tyson Nam's first KO loss. It looked like the guy barely fucking touched him and he just went straight to the ground. Like, I think Silva could be live for a knockout here, man. Like, I think the wheels are going to fall off of Tyson Nam eventually. Like, he has some good losses, but then he has some really shitty ones too. So I see some people like looking at, oh, well, he only lost to Kai Kara France and Sergio Pettis and Matt Schnell is okay and Zalgas. And it's like, dude, I don't know, man. I think Silva could put on a show-stopping performance with a knockout here, but I'm not completely counting Nam out. Like he looked good against, or Ode was looking good until he wasn't, and Nam knocked him out. But I'm gonna go with Silva and think he might stop him.
Okay, I like it. Lou, what's your thoughts on this one?
I'm going to also go with Silva, but I have a slightly different angle on this. I like the Silva decision at plus 235. Nam hasn't been finished. He hasn't been KO'd in 10
I don't
years.
mind that at all.
I do think that Silva is going to probably go to the grappling early and often. I mean, he had a bunch of takedowns against Tagir, a bunch against Dvorak. And I think that how do you nullify Nam is you don't get countered. So he's keeping this, close range. I mean, Ode Osborne went for like a button mashing Tekken move and just left himself wide open. And he just, Nam like caught him on the way down. I had the over in that fight, so I was like disgusted. So I'm just going right back to the over 2.5 here is plus 105 for the 125-pound division, especially. I find that odd, because I feel like Nam is the one with the finish equity. It's not like Silva can't finish him. He'd have to probably finish maybe a submission. But like I said, Nam's been strangely durable, in his career. But I'm interested in the Silva decision prop at plus 235. I have no interest in this fight for DraftKings.
Yeah, fair enough. I think, didn't I just say I also had the decision there, or am I just like, did I just black out?
I don't know.
I think we both were on the decision there. Yeah, no, I like the decision play for sure. I think that the last couple for Silva have been good, but I think in general he's a much more kind of tactical. He reminds me of a young Rafael Sunsao. So
it's a good thing we have an old Rafael Sunsao on this card.
Yeah, and when you said fading the 40-year-old 2 cent, you're going to be able to say that at least 2 more times on this card. So
yeah, possibly. We'll see about that.
Yeah. So Bruno minus 190 right now, plus 160 on Tyson Nam. Yeah, I'm leaving this one alone. I think it's pretty correctly lined. All right. Next fight 135. This one is definitely a Mecca divider. It's a Twitter divider, I think, as well. Just overall, I think this is a fight. This is kind of one of the fights of the week where I feel like both sides feel like they know how this fight's going to go, which probably means it is going to be nothing like anybody thinks. But Tony Gravely, Victor Henry here. Both guys in their 30s. Victor Henry is 35, nearly 36 years old. Tony Gravely, 31 years old, but much, both guys, ton of experience. 31 fights and 29 fights, 60 fights between the two of them. Victor Henry has been a minus 400 in the UFC and a plus 300 in the UFC. They don't know what they're doing with him. Had a crazy fight against Raoni Barcelos on no notice. Or very little notice. And he ended up throwing like the most strikes in division history in that fight. He also got like the most strikes thrown at him in that fight. The next fight, Rafael Sunsao was like, I'm not going to throw strikes. Now what are you going to do? And Victor Henry didn't know what to do. He kind of just waited around a little bit too much. He was waiting to counter-strike a counter-striker who could, get slightly better top control and grappling than him. Could be the same exact thing right here in this fight, frankly. Gravely could wrestle him. I think that would be a mistake, personally, because I do think that Victor Henry, for one, is defensively very strong in the wrestling, and also I think that one of the openings that I think Victor could use to finish Gravely as the fight goes on, if he's able to tire him out. So that's kind of where I'm stuck here. I think Gravely could start very strong, but Henry's going to kind of keep on going, keep on kind of wearing down Gravely as he goes. And I do like the submission game of Victor Henry, honestly. I think from the top or the bottom, he could snag up the submission. I'm not big on guys who try to go for the arm bars, the triangles from the bottom, but against a more tired Gravely, I think it could be really effective if he's able to kind of land a lot of strikes and volume early. So I like Victor Henry either by decision or late submission. Third round submission I will be playing myself. But Victor Henry, I just think he's somewhere in between the two lines he's been given. So that's why we, finally have him properly lined. But Tony Gravely just finds too many banana peels for me. So I got Victor Henry by, I'll say, third round submission. Lou?
Well, I'm 0 for 2 when Henry fights to this point. I haven't bet him.
I'd say most people are. So
I tried to figure out like what the paths are here. It's funny because like in DraftKings, every time Gravely wins, he scores massively. It means he's getting a lot of takedowns, or he's getting like the Munoz fight. He finished them in like 8 seconds. So, quick win there. But he's not getting a finish here. I mean, Henry's durable. He's tough. He doesn't take a lot of damage. He's pretty good about like rolling with punches and never getting hit flush. I think Henry's going to have a cardio advantage. I think he's going to have a volume advantage. I think the optics in the second round are going to favor Henry. Mm-hmm. And then the third round, I'm not as confident in you as a finish, but I do think Henry is going to completely just volume-based decision at worst. We've seen Gravely slow down. We've also seen him like make stupid mistakes in fights. So you talking about Henry getting a guillotine here or something. It's possible Gravely could just dive into a submission. Mm-hmm. Like it wouldn't shock me. I'm never betting this fight ever. Like I said, I would lean toward playing Gravely and DK based on his history. But again, that it entails him getting a lot of takedowns and ground control. And I don't really see that here. So it's going to be 15 minutes on the feet, probably. Henry's going to have the cardio. He's going to have the volume. Give me Henry to win, but I don't want any part of betting this.
All right. Good stuff, Lou. 2 cents. Are you completing the sweep?
Let's just sweep it right up, boys. I'm gonna piggyback right off what Lou said. I would never bet this one. This one's tough for me, dude, because I spent over half my life in Virginia. Tony Gravely is a Virginia beau, and I back him all the time and get burnt. But I'm actually gonna fade him here. I'm gonna go with Henry. I just feel like it's one of those where, like, if I pick Gravely, of course Henry's just gonna fuck him up. Like, I'm a little worried that the opposite could happen and like Henry gets starched. Gravely does hit really fucking hard and he swings for the fences. So Henry's gonna have to be fucking slipping and rolling, sticking and moving. But I think he does. Like, and I actually don't think
Henry has never been finished, by the way. In his
I know
rounds.
that. I know, dude. This is the first time for how many times has that been said though? And then someone gets starched. Like there is always a first time for everything.
Yeah, he's faced very good level of competition. And the other thing I like about Henry is he's aware he's 35. He knows if he loses this fight, this is it. So that's going to work one way or the other for him.
Right.
I think it's his advantage though.
So I actually don't think Gravely's like cardio is terrible. Like he definitely slows down and he'll push through it. I just think against a fighter like Henry, if he does slow down and he is constantly grappling, like Henry is tough to hold down. Like you can get him down. And Gravely doesn't do a ton when he gets his opponent to the ground. He's mostly
in the guard.
Like, yeah, he's interested in the guard. He's interested in just keeping the top position. But Henry does not accept the bottom position. He constantly looks to get back to the feet.
And the other thing, both of his opponents in the UFC have been Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts.
Right. I do rate the win over Howney, and I actually rate the loss to his Sun Sao. I know his Sun Sao is old. I know we're going to talk about him later, but like he's pretty good. Like I don't really see that as being like a terrible loss. And I think he gets the better of Gravely, probably wins a decision. Give me Henry.
No, and yeah, we'll talk about it more, but that I get it that Victor Henry was a minus 400, so losing or being close against the Sun Sao looks terrible there. But it was a closer fight than people I think give it credit for.
Yeah, dude, I agree that he's kind of split the difference. Like he was a little bit like overhyped, and now he's like, I don't know, maybe was a little undervalued coming in, but I don't know. Yeah. I think he's a little bit better than Gravely though.
Yep. All right. So we are all on Mr. Henry here. A very close favorite currently. I know I've seen a lot of people at least saying they're on Gravely here, but plus 115 minus 140 to Mr. Henry. So yeah, I'm closer to betting this one than these two, but currently no bet for me either. Fourth fight currently on the card, 125, JJ Aldrich, Ariane Lipski, Queen of Violence here. I'll be honest, I already got a bet in or a parlay in with JJ Aldrich on it. And I get it that's kind of crazy. She has a split decision with Sabina Mazo. I actually think that split decision with Mazo is the best thing for her career. I think it made her a much better, much more focused, aggressive fighter. The way she looked against Jillian Robertson, I think, is a really good blueprint for this fight with Lipski. That's what Lipski's going to want to do. Lipski's going to mostly kick on the feet. She doesn't like being in boxing range. She's going to try to trip takedown. Aldrich is just like a tree stump. She's very hard to take down. And she's also aware that that's where her biggest weakness is. I highly rate the first round against Erin Blanchfield. So while that is a little recency bias, it also is her most recent performance. I just think that the ways that Lipski wins this fight are very limited, very much like kind of a sub or bust here for me. I think Aldrich just puts it on her. I don't know if she gets the finish, but I think she has a pretty dominant decision. And I get it, the line's juice, but this matchup's terrible for Lipski, in my opinion. So I got JJ all day. She's in one of my parlays already. Or 2 cents, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. I think JJ is the side. I think she can probably get takedowns. I think she can actually piece Lipski up on the feet. I don't rate Lipski very highly at all. So yeah, give me Aldrich. I don't have much on this one.
This is a great comment from Moise. Lipski's ground game is like an air mattress. Do you have the air mattress, Lou?
No, queen of getting violence bestowed upon her, Ariane Lipski. I'm interested in this Aldrich KO prop at plus 375. Okay. I know she's not a tremendous finisher by nature, but
she can
neither is Montana De La Rosa, neither is Antonia Shevchenko.
First career KOs for both.
Yeah. And it's the way they won because, like, look, I'm proud to say I had Cachoeira round 1 KO in that fight. Fighting Cachoeira is a little different because you know her style. She's going to plod forward, have no regard for her defense. But De La Rosa and Shevchenko getting takedowns, getting position, and just raining down fifths. I easily can see Aldrich doing the exact same thing here. Mm-hmm. You know, Lipski's going to accept being on the ground too. That's the thing. Like her takedown defense isn't great. And if she goes down, she's going to try to throw up a submission. She's going to fail, and Aldrich is just going to capitalize. And last thing is, you mentioned the Blanchfield fight. I mean, that's only going to age better and better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Aldrich is like, she doesn't look like anything special, but she doesn't really have too many weaknesses. Like, she's all right. She's tough. I think her fight IQ is good. And Lipsky,
that Jillian fight, I know I'm a Jillian stan. I know she's and everything, but that fight was like the Sabina Mazo fight changed her because she simply lost the Mazo fight for not pressing forward and pushing the pace. Yeah. Like that's the only reason she lost that fight. And I just don't think she's making that mistake here. We got you, Zhongli, at the end.
But plus 375 for the KO, I think I would have liked the better price. But in all fairness, you're getting somebody who's almost a 4-1 favorite, who probably will be a 4-1 favorite by the time the fights start. And you're getting almost 4-1 for a finish prop. I like it.
I like it. Nice. All right. So odds on this one really quick. We're all on JJ. Have we all agreed on all 4 fights so far?
Yeah, it's horse shit.
Yeah.
So all right. What an echo chamber. I should really point the finger at myself. Minus 380. It is up minus 400 now. Plus 310 on Lipsky. And then Tajik Bey and saying Lipsky all day. All right, enjoy. Kelly, I'll just leave your comment down there. I'm trying to play nice today. We're gonna move on to the next fight, though. We got another 40-year-old, and it's not Mario Bautista. It is Guido Canetti. The 2-fight winning streak, Guido Canetti. The Guido Canetti that, yes, I did bet against Randy Costa and got fucking berated for this shit. And then what do? Starch the man. So I don't want to hear it. Age is just a number. Guido probably been on sauce and off sauce, by the looks of things, but whatever. It's all good. Mario Bautista, he's had an okay career. I'm not like crazy high on him, and we've seen the odds for this fight. So can Guido do it? That's the real question. Can he get another kind of miracle ninja style finish? Last 2, just starched Randy and choked him out. Moutinho starched him. Those were both fights where everybody was so sure on the favorite there. Had a split decision with Mana Martinez. So it's just like, I don't know. They've been paired up before. Mario Bautista should come in, just keep him extended, keep him at the end of the punches and fuck him up. But I just wouldn't surprise me if Guido gets another KO here. And I'm not going to pick it, obviously. I'll just take Bautista. I want no part of betting this fight at all. I mean, Batista's last 3 wins are Jay Perrin, Brian Kelleher, and Benito Lopez. I can argue that Guido Canetti is the best of those 3 guys by far. And that's sad. And then, again, got knocked out by Trevin Jones. Do we need a refresher on how good Trevin Jones is after last week? I don't know, man. I don't get this price. It's trying to get people to bet it. I won't bet it. I'll just say Bautista gets a KO just because he's got to knock out this old man. Lou? Hello?
Oh, yeah. I was hitting I have a lot of tabs open. Guido Canetti round 1 KO is plus 1,800 right now. Just want to throw that out there. If you do want to take a shot on the dog, you may as well play him by round 1 KO. That's his win condition. Aside from the Mana Martinez fight, and Martinez can't finish anybody. It's either round 1 KO against the scrub or round 1 early round 2 loss against somebody decent. I can't see this really being any different. I have a 2-leg parlay with the under 1.5 here at minus 175. It does give me Guido's win condition. It gives me Bautista getting the ground game going and getting a submission. It gives me Canetti being tired starting the second round and Bautista launching on him and getting a KO. It gives me all the possible outcomes I see for this fight. I know Bautista couldn't put away Jay Perrin, but I mean, Canetti, I don't think passed the 4-minute mark, really. I mean, the Moutinho fight was ridiculous because Moutinho is just awful and has no defense. So.
What's the second round Guido KO price?
Let's see. Plus 4,000.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The Trevin Jones special?
Plus 4,000 for round 2.
If Trevin Jones can do it, Maybe Guido could. That's insane.
I mean, I'm just going to
like,
stick with the under, and I'm going to root for Kennedy because I got to root for like fellow old guy.
Sure.
And he's, look, in all fairness, he's made me some serious money in his last couple of fights. I had him round 1 KO in both because it was.
You might as well wait for the weigh-ins to see what kind of vitamins Guido's on coming.
It was plus 1,000 round 1 KO against Matinho, and it was way crazier against Costa. It was like, I think it was plus 1,600. So,
and it's just getting more each time.
Well, yeah. So I mean, now he's he's on a 2-fight winning streak. They got to give him a step up in competition on his run to the title.
Can you imagine who Guido has to fight if he wins this fight? Like next, how like he's gonna be a plus 2,000 the next fight if he wins. Like if he fucks up and wins this fight, this is bad for Guido's health. I really hope he just loses this fight.
Does he get a rematch with Cheeto Vera? Like,
oh no, he did. Like, he did win the first round.
Like,
he did
win
right. This is really dangerous. Like dangerous territory if Guido wins this fight. I hope for his health he loses this fight.
He's probably gonna get Petr Yan if he wins. Like, I mean, and he'll win the first round, and he'll still win the first round.
This is what I'm saying. This is scary. There's no way. Just my 2 cents. Do you have the 40-year-old here? 43-year-old.
I was gonna say, dude, he ain't no 40. He's closer to 45 than 40. Dude, this line is unconscionable. It's almost like triple dog daring you to bet Kennedy.
It really is.
But I think it's kind of a trap. I think Batista could actually look like pretty close to him. Maybe not a minus 1,000, but he's gonna look like a minus 500. He's gonna sub this motherfucker. Kennedy, like, I hear your argument that like the guys that Batista has been beating, like Kennedy might be the best of those. I know that Mario Batista is better than fucking Chris Matino and Randy Costa. Those two are some of the biggest like fraudulent jobbers I've ever fucking seen. Dude, like they're terrible. Batista is gonna smoke this.
Never forget that Moutinho was one of the favorites that card.
That is fucking retarded.
Never forget, people. Never forget. They were saying minus 140 value on Moutinho.
Batista choking this dude. Club and sub or KO.
All right. Yeah.
Aaron, let me bring up one other thing from the DraftKings perspective, just to give you like so Batista, typically I don't go over 9,600 for a salary. Like Bo Nickel was 9,600 last week. Mario Batista is 9,700 this week. So I would say right now, you don't want to completely avoid him in all your lineups, but if you put him in your lineup, you probably have to play Merab, and you have to play somebody else in that like low 7K range just to make your lineup work. I think you can, if you're doing a 1 lineup day, I think you can pass on him here because he needs a first round finish with like a takedown and maybe a lot of strikes and like a flurry to even pay that salary off. So you can't fade him, obviously, and I'm fading Kennedy completely. But if Kennedy gets a first round knockout, you probably just won $100,000.
Well, congratulations.
He's going to be so low owned. I mean, because its floor is nothing here.
It's like just fucking pass on this one, dude.
This picture on his Tapology is from like 2008.
It looks good.
It does, dude. It has like the lighting. It has that like 2000s lighting and shit.
Like that is like the UFC tap out game is on the map.
He has the same photographer as Mr. Finland.
Yep.
I can almost see like a young Big John in there or something, or Bruce with like dark hair, you know.
Here it is, boys. All right. Listen, everybody knows this is an SD Dumas channel. We were all together on the Contender Series when everybody was picking this Glory MMA guy. And I'm sorry, guys. This is like, you guys know how I feel about this fight. And most people do at this point. Go to these two for a more balanced breakdown of this fight, because I do believe, and I believed for a long time with Sendrique, that he's like the future of this division. I really believe that. Tremendous striker, and then the entire rest of his game is rounding into form like very quickly. He's been training MMA for 4 years since getting out of jail and trying not to go back to jail. He trains with a very small team, which I do like. He goes over the Fusion in Florida to also train with some good guys. He's been over at the UFC PI. You're not gonna find me going against him. I get it. Everybody's on SD this week. It is what it is. That's irrelevant to my pick. here. Josh Fremd is in a lot of trouble in this fight. I think if he can't get the wrestling going, Josh Fremd's going to span for wrestling, maybe have some success with it in the first round. So maybe you can kind of wait around and maybe look at the SD live number. But if SD doesn't put him away in the first round, he's going to put him away in the second or third round. I truly believe that. And it could be by submission. I think the SD sub is not a bad shot here. I mean, Josh has shown that neck is there to be grabbed and there to be submitted. It really is. And SD's no joke, but at the same point, I think that SD's going to knock him out. I really do. I think this guy is a way better striker than Josh and beats up the legs with some leg kicks early on. Second round TKO for me. SD Dumas bet him right away when he was at minus 150. I think that was a great price on him. I do think that Josh, in his third straight short notice fight, he's doing anything he can to stay with the company. I give him credit for that, but I think SD is going to tool this dude up. Go ahead. 2 cents.
Now, I definitely am not like I can't say I'm not high on Dumas. I didn't even know who the dude was until recently. I'll be completely honest with you. So this was just all kind of new to me. This is really a fade on Fremd. I feel like I've been hearing this the last couple matchups. It's like, dude, people don't realize how good Josh Fremd is. Like, he's going to look really good in this fight. Like, everyone has loved betting Fremd as an underdog, and just like, it's just been like this wait and see. Dude, losing to Trayshawn Gore is a really fucking bad look. I would never dream of polishing that fucking turd, because that is a fucking turd of a loss. I do think, based on what I've seen in the tape, that that SD or whatever is better, and I think he should just take care of him, like you said, kind of early. I wish I could give you a hot take on this one, but nah, I'm going with Dumas.
Yeah, I've heard some people trying to pronounce it like Dumas. It's Dumas. Literally in interviews,
Dumas.
He's like, my name's Sendrique Dumas. It's not Dumas. So stop trying to be cool. Betya.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it a clean sweep. What I want to add here is, if you know anything about like my affiliations or who I root for, like, I'm a Factory X guy, like I have a personal relationship, like friendship with one of the fighters, who is the one that took the Gore fight on short notice when Fremd had to withdraw, that being Cody Brundage. So Fremd had a full camp to train for Gore, and then he had to withdraw, and then they beat him. So they had literally a blueprint on what to do against Trayshawn Gore. And Fremd went out there and he got absolutely annihilated. He got choked. He got his neck snapped off in a choke, which was a crazy look for how Gore fights. I mean, good for Gore, man. Like, he needed that. He was probably going to get cut. So good for him with his back against the wall, but a very bad look for Fremd. You have the Fluffy fight where, like, I don't know what to make of that, because Fluffy, you look what he did to Barrial. Like, I don't know if there's something wrong with Fluffy going in that fight, because his cardio didn't look as good as we know it is. He did look gassed in the second round, and Fremd had survived and took over. And that was a really fun technical grappling match. Like, that was a lot of high level stuff going on the ground. Like, Fremd looked good. If this is a grappling match, I imagine it's because Dumas is just on top, raining down hell. If it's on the feet, I favor Dumas all day. I like him. I do have a tracked bet. This is the first bet I put in because I saw the line was moving. I didn't get it. I got it at minus 160. I didn't get it at a great price. I did get it at a better price than it is today. But I mean, I saw people hanging at 130 up there. And I mean, I wish I had gotten that. Yeah. But I do like him to win here. His in the distance props are going to be interesting to me. I think the subs lie. I mean, I know you said the KO, but man, like,
this dude kicks so fucking hard.
The one reason I like the sub over the KO here is on the Fremd side. He tends to panic wrestle when he gets hit.
I agree.
So if he panic wrestles and shoots, Dumas just like reverses position on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, the ground and pound's live too. Like, I'm not like, that's the problem, is I don't really know which. I don't know that I feel strongly one way or the other about like a method prop.
Yeah,
it's fine by
this
me.
This dude's a real deal. I'm seeing everybody's betting on him. Everybody sees that, and now it's like, oh well, the group thing. Sometimes the public is correct. He's at minus 210 now. I still don't disagree with the price, but again, I'm a huge fan of this guy. My worry, obviously, with SD is that he hasn't fought a huge level of competition. That's the big worry here. Fremd has fought the much better level of competition, LFA title experience as well. So that's the worries. But at the same point, I think SD makes a statement and never is on an early prelim again.
And it does look like they're building him up here. Like this is a fight to build.
They know what they, yeah.
It doesn't always work out that way, but it's.
Yeah, no, I think he's a real deal here. SD also started at heavyweight, and still has like heavyweight legs. He really does. All right, I gassed him up enough here.
He is a great DraftKings play, by the way. Dumas.
Yeah,
8,800 is an absolute. I would play him way more than I would play Batista at almost 1,000 more.
Yeah, I don't know enough about DraftKings, but I think that if he's worth less than a Batista, I agree 100%.
He has takedown equity. He has knockout equity on the feet. He has volume equity. Like he has all the things you want.
He's got finishing equity for sure.
Yeah, and he could do it either way you want. And even in a decision, if it's like a wrestling-based decision, he's going to pay off his salary. So, like, whereas Batista needs a finish early, Dumas doesn't. But I think he still gets one anyway.
Yeah, Dumas against the kickboxer went to the grappling here. Maybe he goes to the kickboxing against, who knows? But I'm really excited to see his debut. I've been waiting for it. All right, Rafael Sunsao, Davy Grant combined, like what, 79 years old here, or something like that. We got the old guys here. This one to me is one of my very, very few underdog picks. Feels similar to Fugit versus Kinoshita. I'll tell you right now, Fremd is no Adam Fugit, brother. We had Adam Fugit. Stop it. Don't bring up Adam Fugit in the same sentence as Josh Fremd. How dare you? And also, SD would kill Kinoshita. Anyways, Davy Grant, Rafael Sunsao. This is definitely one of the dogs on the card who I think is very, very live. I think this fight's going to be extremely, extremely close. If anything, I think Davy Grant has more damage on him than Rafael Sunsao, even though Sunsao is a few years older. Grant just like bleeds by a slight breeze at this point. A lot of scar tissue, a lot of damage, a lot of wars he's been in. I mean, he's fought Chito Vera twice, for God's sakes. That second one, brutal. Yeah, this is just one to me that it's just like we keep kind of trying to put a Sunsao down, and he keeps kind of. I like how he looked in his last fight, I should say. I like how he looked with his new camp, Eric Nissick in the corner, Couture, Extreme Couture. I think is getting the most out of the 40-year-old at this point. It's just like one of these things where, for me, Davy Grant isn't exactly high volume himself, and will often kind of get held down in the grappling. And a Sunsao, I think, would not surprise me to go to kind of work the top control. I think we're going to see a lot of close rounds. Probably it's like a split decision type of thing. I'm not betting it, but at first I was leaning Davy Grant, but I think that I'm going to go with Sunsao by decision. I've lost track. Is it Lou?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Let's make it. This is one of the few dogs I have too. And I mean, I feel like we've now seen this 3 weeks in a row where you have a guy, he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's, losing streak. And then we saw it with Sakai and Dontel Mays, obviously an absolutely.
Yeah. That's at 135, Fernando. What up, Fernando?
Awful pick by me to pick Mays, but we're seeing this for guys with losing streaks who face better competition, take a step down in competition. Davy Grant hasn't fought in a while either. Everything he was in with a war, but the last time we saw him, Louis Smolka was hurting him. And yeah, he came back and he won the 3rd round, but not really a great look against Smolka. Meanwhile, Sunsao, looked great against Victor Henry, which, look, again, we don't really know what to make of Victor Henry. We think we do, but I mean, look at these losses. Like Ricky Simone, who's working his way up the ladder, seems to be almost in his final form. Garbrandt, thought he won the 1st round, and then Garbrandt, he catches him and it happens. All right. Sanhagen's a beast. Marlon Moraes, look, I know Moraes is a little older. This was 4 years ago, but Moraes was still all right back then. I mean, he's losing to good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Davy Grant is a big step down here. I am fascinated by this. I know this seems like a weird play, but I am fascinated at plus 800 by a Sunsao by submission.
Hmm.
Davy Grant doesn't get KO'd. Like when he loses by finish, he's getting subbed. I know Sunsao hasn't had a sub in like goddamn forever.
Mm-hmm.
But could a Sunsao go to some grappling here? I mean,
what's the Sunsao ITD number?
It is plus, depending on your book, as high as plus 600.
Oh,
so you don't want to get like overly greedy. His KO props plus 1150. But like I said, Grant's shown a weird ability just to never get KO'd. Or if he does get finished in bad grappling spots. I don't
like
know that
if it's finished by cut, that'd be a KO, right?
Yeah. So,
dude, a cut doctor's stoppage for a plus 1150.
ITD at plus 600 is probably.
I think the ITD. Yeah.
But,
what's Grant? And then what's Grant finish only is what Kelly was asking.
I don't have any of that on DraftKings yet. I could check actually. I don't think I do.
It's okay.
I like they're just laying in the props right now. Oh wait, I do have it. Hold on. What do you say? Finish only?
Yeah, for Grant.
Grant finish only is minus 280.
Not worth it to me.
Davy Grant's been good to me in my he's been good to me in my experience betting him because he's facing bums. But
Sunso's not a bum.
No, he's not. And yeah, I don't know. And last thing about this is at 7,700, I can't say that I love a Sunsao here DraftKings wise. I mean, when he does win, against Victor Henry, he only got 76 points, and that was a very volume-based decision and only threw 60 strikes. Before that, you have to go back to Rob Font. He only got 78. He doesn't really score a lot of points in his wins. No. But if you like him for the finish here, if you think the finish is sneaky live, and these are all decision wins. If you think the finish is sneaky live, he's going to be a low-owned guy. I'm going to have 10% of him at least. It's going to be a good contrarian play against the field.
Yeah, no, I like it. 2 cents. Are you completing the sweep?
Yes, and I really don't fucking like it. I hate that we're all on the same side and that we're all on the dog. But the line is just fucking off, dude. This should be flipped. Davy Grant is a fucking jobber. Jobber with a capital J. And the dudes that he's been beating are even fucking bigger jobbers. I don't get this line at all.
Is he like Iron Mike Sharp level of jobber?
Dude, I don't know, man. But he fucking I guess they think that because a Sunsao has been clipped by these big winging hooks, and that's definitely the kind of punches that Davy throws. He does swing hard. But if people are fading a Sunsao because he's 40, they also need to realize, and I think it's already been said, that him and Davy Grant would have gone to high school at the same time. It's not like
Davy Grant's been beaten to 40 with some of these beatdowns he's had.
Dude, it's not like he's a younger generation of fighter. They came up at the same time. And other than that Cheeto Vera win way back when, dude, he ain't
2 million years ago.
If Davy Grant's 37, then so am I.
Seriously, man. The dude he is kind of an old leather boot, but he gets hurt in every fucking fight. It wouldn't surprise me at all if a Sunsao clubbed and subbed him. I know he doesn't really get knockouts, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if he just straight up subbed him. If he just went to the grappling and that's how Grant loses a lot of his fights. He just gets fucking choked. So I could see that. I'm definitely going with the Sunsao here. I'll probably end up betting him.
I'm about to ban Jack from the chat. Davy the future Grant.
Dude, Jack is the biggest fucking Davy Grant I've ever seen.
Of course he is. Don't
listen to a word Jack says with Davy Grant.
Trust me, Lewis has been blowing up my fucking inbox all week. David Grant week. It's David Grant. Who gives a fuck? Who fucking cares?
I can't do a British accent, or I would try here. But,
I can't either, but I did anyways. All right,
I do get faded because I'm 40, just so Mick knows. Constantly. I'm constantly faded at my septuagenarian age.
And then plus 115 on a Sunsao. I don't fade you, Lou. Minus 140 on Davy here. So I think most people are starting to pick up that Grant should not be a favorite in this fight, or really most fights against decent levels of competition. All right. The final fight, the featured prelim, 265, Lukas Brzezinski or Brzezinski, whatever it is. Can't really understand in any of the commentary what they're saying. Versus Carl Williams, I think it is. Carl Williams, a guy who said after his Contender Series fight, I can't wait to go to light heavyweight. So what am I going to do? Face one of the biggest heavyweights. Great. What could go wrong there? And now he's like -4, -200. Here's how I feel about this fight. Carl Williams should be able to just kind of wrestle up Lukas Brzezinski especially after he tires out, get on top of him, beat him up, get him tired, maybe wear him down and get like a second, third round type of stoppage. Probably gets a decision win because he should be fighting 205. But Carl Williams is just much better than this dude who got on the Contender Series and won with a non-tap, and then lost to Marcus Booty. Which I get, Marcus Booty like weighs like 390 pounds or whatever. He's enormous. Like, it's really stupid. But Carl Williams is just better, and most of the time at heavyweight, the better fighter wins. It doesn't matter if they're bigger. Better is better. So, 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this shitty ass featured prelim?
Don't understand how it's the featured prelim. Gonna keep it short and sweet. Williams gonna wrestle them both. Williams by decision.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Lou, you want to shine this turd up, or can we just kind of?
You understand that if not for the Volkov-Romanov fight, this fight would be on the main card because they feel that they have to put one heavyweight fight.
They have to like say we have a heavyweight fight.
I feel like this would be the co-main event if Volkov and Romanov weren't there. I'm never betting this. Bresky won that fight against Martin Budai. Like, he won that fight.
Yeah, he won
terrible. And Carl Williams beat up the worst Penn State wrestler ever.
Oh, I can't believe people were trying to tell me Jimmy Lawson was a lock.
Well, I was one of those people. I had a bet on Jimmy Lawson. But the nice thing is, here's the nice thing. I knew I lost that bet in 45 seconds. At least I knew the bet was over. There's no chance of winning it.
None.
I'm like, all right, on to the next one. Like,
Lawson lets you know immediately when he's lost. But
Williams threw 24. He had 24 strikes in that whole fight.
It's terrible.
You know how many Lawson had? One.
Yeah, right.
One strike.
Right. He was gassed in 40 seconds. Lucas probably gets gassed in 50.
I'm not betting this. I'm actually, just to be different, I'm going to pick Bresky solely because he's the natural heavyweight. I'm never betting this fight. Like, ever. Yeah. And no DraftKings at all for me here. Like, at all.
Yeah, so like we don't need to spend much more time on he's -250 now. I'm seeing on sites, +200 on Brzezinski, the Poland guy who is inspired by Jan Blachowicz, or Jan as I call him. We're gonna move on. This is why I appreciate you guys. Unfortunately, the next fight is about as carousel, about as clown of a fight as we can get, to be honest with you. But it should be interesting. I see this as like a very popular underdog this week, Anton, the Pleasure Man, Turkalij, taking on Victor Petrino. I don't think Victor has a nickname. This is pretty simple here for me. We don't really know how Anton responds to getting hit at this point in his career. He's faced a very low level of competition. When he took the step up, he didn't look great, including on the Contender Series. Like, I was very unimpressed by him. I think Victor is going to be just so much bigger. He has decent takedown defense from what I've seen. Yes, at times he was taken down, and he was hurt against Bellato, but that's a fight to me I'm not too concerned with. I think Victor comes out here and knocks out Anton, most likely, probably within the first round. But this also is a fight where Anton could just rinse and repeat and get like 12 to 15 takedowns in the fight and just kind of grind out a decision, and everybody is silent in the Virgin Theater. I'm going to go with the Petrino KO, but if you're on Anton by decision, congrats. Not going to like freak out about it. Lou.
I'm never betting this fight pre-fight. However, I have it written down. This is one of the fights I'd be interested in live betting. If the problem I have here is this with the live bet, you need Petrino to win the first round to live bet, because I don't know that I trust his cardio. At least we saw with Pleasure Man go the distance, albeit incredibly unimpressive, but he didn't look tired and he was getting takedowns all 3 rounds. So at least I saw that the cardio was there, which I was impressed with, since all he'd ever done is fight 1-minute fight. So I don't know that the Petrino is going to have that level of cardio. If you see that Turkal is just like +2 something live. I think he might be worth a poke. This Petrino gets tired if he goes to takedowns, but I don't know, man. I don't want to pick. I don't want to pick. By the way, this is your Yam Bag special. There's no, and this is not a card where I like any Yam Bags at all.
Yeah.
I should mention I am coming off a successful Yam Bag week.
Correct. Thank you very
Hammer
much,
and Simon.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. It's too many unknowns. This is basically like the Contender Series Tournament of Champions. I feel like this is like that's what it is. It's like, all right, all
it's
the guys
kind of good.
won.
It's kind of good matchmaking. It just shouldn't be on the main card.
It's good matchmaking, and it's infuriating as a bettor because, like, I feel like whoever wins looked -500 here.
Yes,
like that's what I feel like, and then we're gonna be like, God damn it, so no bet. I'll take the pleasure, man, because at least he wasn't lazy enough to not have a nickname.
Fine. We disagree. 2 cents, break the split.
I have such conviction.
Yeah, really.
This is a shit fight. Yes, Turkaj has fought a very low level competition.
I call him turkey leg.
Turkey. But let me just read you guys off the records of the guys that fucking Petrino is beaten. All right. Bellato is his best win. Let's just pin that. Bellato twice his best win. Other than that, 0-0, 1-17, 0-6, 0-0, and fucking anti-Gulov. That is really you cannot get much lower than that. I think Turkaj is the way better grappler. His ground and pound is really fucking heavy. I think he's going to GMP this dude in a TKO. I'm going to say like probably second or third round, but give me Anton here. Shitty.
For what it's worth, William Tells, the 1-17 guy, broke his losing streak, and he is now 2-24.
Thank you. Put some respect on William's name.
That's right. He's on a 1-fight winning streak, man.
It is currently a pick of -110 both sides here. So
that does it. Switch my pick. Nah, give me.
All right, fair enough. No bet from me. Next fight, good fight, 135. Said Nurmagomedov taking on Jonathan Martinez. Really, tough fight for me. I've been back and forth on this one. I just don't like with Said that he's so not aggressive offensively. Like, he does not wrestle himself. He kind of waits around a lot. He was losing to Sayed Yukib in the last fight until he wasn't. He has that quick guillotine finish of Stamen. A few quick finishes, very good jiu-jitsu. 3 of his last 4 wins have been by sub. Jonathan Martinez, I apologize, guys. I get Mario Batista and Jonathan Martinez completely mixed up all the time, and they always put him on. I think everybody does. I don't know why, but we do. So, like earlier, I was kind of mentioning how I liked the striking of Batista. I was more talking about Jonathan Martinez's striking. I kind of realized now. So I apologize for blending together a little bit here. Martinez is so much more aggressive offensively here for me that with Said, I have a trouble seeing how he wins this, on the cards or in general if he doesn't go to the grappling early and often. He just waits for his opponent to grapple often to go to the grappling is my concern. Like, Said is like as fringe 15 as you can get. He's beat everybody else outside of the top 15. This is the last guy who's unranked before he has to fight ranked guys. Martinez, I really like the camp he's out of. I like that he's shown kind of some constant improvements here. The leg kicks, I think, could be really, really huge in this fight on one side or the other, either by exposing the takedowns possibly for Said or by really slowing Said down and making him more hittable. And if that happens, I could see Martinez winning a pretty impressive decision where just offensively he's much better than his opponent. I don't know how Said wins this without kind of finding another kind of submission, kind of similar to his last fight. But Said Yukub was much better grappler, and that's kind of the difference for me in this fight. Is Martinez just, I'm not sure if grappling wise defensively he can keep it out of that realm for Said. So I wanted to find Martinez. I got Said by submission somewhere in the fight. probably a little bit later. He just doesn't seem to get started early. So late second, third round submission for Said. But I mean, Martinez winning a decision going away would not shock me at all, to be honest with you. Said is just not offensive enough for me. So just my 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this one?
I don't think I agree with a good bit of what you said. I don't think that like Said is incredible, but I really don't understand why people like. Is it like that when as soon as people find out that he's not like blood related to Khabib, is like, well, you're just a fraud. You're not a real Nurmagomedov. Like,
I think that's part of it. Yeah,
people just love to find a reason to try and fade this guy. And it's like, dude, he's not that fucking bad. Like, I got 2 words for you: Andre Sukumtov. Said Nurmagomedov is going to win this fight. Period.
Yeah. If you're losing decisions to Andre Sukumtov, and then, yeah, it's pretty hard to argue with that. Lou.
So here's my betting history. The last 5 fights Martinez has been in. Davy Grant, I bet on Davy Grant. Lavishvili, I bet on Lavishvili. I lost. I bet on Alejandro Perez in the distance. I lost. I bet on Vince Morales KO prop. I lost.
Oh.
I bet on Cub Swanson. I lost. I've bet against this guy every single time, and I'm bleeding money. But I also have the Said sub at plus 450.
Nice.
I think that, like, literally that's his path here. Martinez, like, by numbers, has 70% takedown defense, but he's never facing grapplers. I mean, look at the guys he's facing. Like, Alejandro Perez isn't grappling. Vince Morales ain't grappling. Cub Swanson, like, got a takedown, but he's not a grappler. I mean, he's not facing guys that implement that style at all. One thing I like about Said is he's not, like, yeah, he's more of a striker than, you know, any other Nurmagomedovs, but he's not afraid to mix it up. I think he's going to struggle early with the distance, but I don't think Jonathan Martinez is that good. Just replay this the next time after he's already won, and I keep saying he's not that good.
Yeah, like, it's like I thought you were finally going to bet against him in his like toughest opponent. Like I'm finally going to bet him. I thought you were going to finally bet him.
I'm going to keep fading. I'm going to go 6 fights in a row not betting him.
Yeah, just keep fading. Keep fading. You'll end up green.
Eventually I'll win, right?
Yeah,
it's like the Martingale system. Just keep doubling your bet. So you got it.
To make sense to me. Good advice from Lou there. 1-800-GAMBLERS. Just my 2 cents. You RA went with Said as well. So that is going to be a sweep on that fight. Quite a few sweeps on this card so far, but I do feel the favorites are pretty accurately lined for the most part. Minus 240 on Said, plus 200 on Jonathan Martinez. Not sure if it should be that, but that's simply because I just think Said lacks some aggressiveness for me. Ricardo Ramos versus Austin Lingo, 145 fight here. This is another guy who I've had in a parlay from early in the week, that being Ricardo Ramos. I just simply think that Austin Lingo is a basic boxer, and that is pretty much it. I think he can get very, very kind of thrown off when his footwork is disturbed. I know he's going to be expecting the spinning shit. I think he's somebody like Danny Chavez, who's so reliant on kind of being square and having kind of traditional striking that even if he's ready for the spins, he's not able to get out of the way of them because he just doesn't have that footwork. Austin Lingo's very plodding footwork. And I think that Ramos could have an advantage in the grappling. Wrestling, maybe Lingo has a chance to survive there for a little bit, but even I just think that he starts to have a lot of problems with Ramos on the ground. On the feet, I think Ramos is so much quicker, longer, better. Lingo's been out with injuries lately as well. He's got my boy Saif Saud in the corner, so when things start to go bad, they're going to get worse, and he's just going to be getting yelled at, being, how bad do you want this? His last 2 wins are over absolute garbage. I get it, Ramos has had his moments where he's slipped, but this to me is just like JJ Aldrich, another spot that I love. The favorite, I think that this is a terrible matchup for the underdog. So give me Ramos, dance around him like Zalal did, basically. Lou.
Yeah, I like the decision win here for Ramos. I actually think this fight's going to probably play out a lot like the Algeo fight did, where Algeo is just getting dominated, but he's tough and he hangs in there and he does just enough to stay out of like any kind of submission. Lingo seems pretty tough. I think Ramos is going to make this a 15-minute grappling match. He's going to tire Lingo out. I don't love that Lingo hasn't fought a year and a half in terms of like having a strong feeling to bet a decision prop here. But I think Ramos is a very solid parlay piece.
Yep. He's been in parlay with JJ for me since the jump. So 2 cents. I assume you're completing the sweep here.
Dude, Christ. I really don't fucking like Ricardo Ramos. As a fighter in general.
How you not like Ramos? She's so fun.
I cannot stand that motherfucker. I think he
hater.
I am a hater, dude. I am a fucking certified Ramos hater. But the guys that have been beating him are way better than Austin Lingo. I want to fade Ramos here. Lingo does hit hard. That is his best like quality, in my opinion, is his boxing. But like he's very one-dimensional. He's very basic. He can kind of telegraph his shit sometimes. I think Ramos is going to be way craftier. Like on the feet, he'll manage distance better. He'll, like you said, kind of frustrate and stifle Lingo. On the ground, I think he's really live to get a submission. I kind of just think like, as much as I hate it, I think that Ramos will kind of win the fight wherever it goes. Like it won't stun me if Lingo fucking starches him. But other than that, I just don't see it, man. I'll go Ramos.
I'm really surprised. Like so many people are like, he needs to go to wrestling. Like Lingo doesn't have this like huge wrestling game. Like
offensively, he's okay, but it's like if Ramos decides to grapple, I think he'll find some way to either get the back or like some kind of trip takedown or something to end up getting on top. One thing to note, Ramos is not training on Team Alpha Male for this fight. He's back in Brazil, so that wrestling could be quite suspect. So like I still, again, I've had Ramos all week in a parlay, so minus 360 is at currently pretty steep, plus 280 on Lingo. But yeah, I do think I think it's much more a KO or bust for Lingo as well. So I kind of agree with you on that 2 cents. But moving on, we covered this fight already. Nikita Krylov had stomach issues, pulled out of his fight with Ryan Spann the day of. I know that they have a lot of these issues. I don't think it was anything super major. I had Nikita Krylov originally. I feel that he has a grappling advantage. I also feel he has a gas advantage as the fight goes on, cardio-wise. I think first 2 rounds are dangerous for Spann, especially the first round for Krylov against Spann. But for me, I think Krylov ends up finding a way to either get a decision, maybe a later sub, but I'll say Krylov by decision, especially now it's 3 rounds. 2 cents. Yeah, I pretty much have the same read on this fight as I did before. I'm a little concerned about what was it, like a foodborne illness or something for Krylov. For some reason, that's just like, I don't really think that's going to affect the fight at all. But I just think Krylov is overall a better fighter. Like if Spann was a little bit more trustworthy, I would probably feel more comfortable picking him. Like I think he's live for a knockout. Krylov can be. He definitely has like lapses. Like he has lapses in the grappling. Sometimes he'll have lapses on the feet. Spann is kind of like that same knucklehead though. Like I feel like both of them kind of like what was it you said earlier, slip on some banana peels. But I think overall Krylov is a better fighter. He's more well-rounded. I think he has like Spann is like an opportunistic grappler where like if he hurts you, he can get the sub. But other than club and sub, I think Krylov is just going to kind of outclass him a little bit and could end up looking like a big fucking favorite towards the end of the fight. It's a 3-rounder, so like I don't know, like I would have felt a little bit more comfortable with Krylov over 5, but even in 3, I still think Spann is going to look like shit. And like in the 3rd round, Spann could be looking really fucking crazy, and I think Krylov will just get it done somehow.
I like it. Lou, I think I remember you were on Krylov before.
I don't think this fight's going to the 3rd round, so I'm not really concerned as to what he looks like. But I have under 1.5 parlay with the Batista under 1.5. It's one of my bets I already have in. I said I like Krylov to win, but I could not ignore the fact that the Spann round 1, round 2 sub was plus 800 last time. It's plus 750 right now. I think it's completely worth a poke, especially after Krylov withdrew for having an issue. But yes, if I have to pick a side gun to my head, Krylov's just better everywhere, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right,
Pick
fair
is
enough.
him, but I can't ignore the odds of that sub prop though.
Yeah, minus 170 now. So you're getting a little better price on Nikita now, plus 145 on Mr. Span. Move on. I like how we're going through the main card quicker than the prelims, but that is typically how it works here, because they make the main cards less interesting. This fight, I don't really know what to think about this fight. It seems kind of like it's Romanov round one or Volkov by decision. I don't know if it's that simple or not. I don't know how close Volkov is to being done. God, I don't know, man. This is just like not one that I'm really have much of a confident pick on. I think that Romanov will win the first round for sure. I don't know how Volkov will respond, but I think maybe Volkov can bounce back, win the last two. So, like, if Romanov doesn't get the finish in the first round, I don't see him looking well as the fight goes on. I can't get the Juan Espino fight out of my head and some other fights. This is just a really gross heavyweight fight to me. I don't know. I can't pick Romanov here, though. I got Volkov by decision, but wouldn't put $1 on this ever. Lou, do you have any better thoughts than my waffling of a pick to Volkov?
Yep. Romanov round one sub, please. And thank you. I know Romanov got exposed a little bit last fight against Tybura. Keep in mind that they could have, a lot different ref would have ended that fight. I mean, that was as clear. And I don't know why it wasn't a 10-8. That was as clear 10-8 as you're ever going to see. Like 28 unanswered strikes. Like I said, I mean, Tybura was offering nothing back. So I'm surprised they didn't stop it. So here's my fun fact for the week. I know Volkov gets, people talk about his takedown defense. They talk about the Blades fight, like kind of altering his stats. Great. You know how many submission attempts Volkov's faced in his career in the UFC? One. That one was against Tom Aspinall. It was vicious. It didn't take long. I think Romanov's going to get this fight to the mat in the first round. He's going to get at least one or two submission attempts, and he's going to get Volkov out of there. If the bet loses, you just turn right around. You live bet Volkov. No problem. But I'm going Romanov round one submission at plus 500 is what it is.
Nice. All right. 2 cents. Break the semi-tie here since I did pick Volkov.
Oh, God. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, dude, but I feel strangely confident that Volkov is going to stop Romanov. How did Romanov get this fucking fight? You lose to Tybura and then you get a better fighter? Like, what the fuck is this? I give Maynard and Shelby a lot of credit for the matchmaking a lot, but this one is fucked. I think Romanov is a fucking fraud. I think he's absolutely round sub or bust. And yeah, Lou, I like the hedge angle. Like, I fucking Romanov inside the distance or something. It's like, Chase Sherman, bro. Chase Sherman and Vandera and Juan Espino. Like, Volkov would destroy all those motherfuckers. But Chase Sherman and Vandera would never get a fucking fight with Volkov. I don't understand how Romanov got this one. I don't really get it. He's Moldovan, right? Isn't that where he's from?
He's the proletariat bear of Moldova.
Yeah, so are they trying to expand the Moldovan market? I really don't get how he got this fight, and I think that Volkov is a way better fighter. On the feet, it is night and day. Doesn't even do the contrast justice, dude.
Agreed.
He's gonna get fucking smoked on the feet if he doesn't get the finish. Volkov is gonna brutalize this motherfucker. I see a second or third round TKO for Volkov. I don't understand. This line is very disrespectful, and Romanov's a fucking fraud. Thank you.
2 cents. I finally paid off the proletariat bear of Moldova joke weeks later, and I got nothing from you. No reaction. Nothing.
Yeah, well.
Nothing.
Yeah, well. That's all he's got to say about that.
I'll just no sell that one too. Yeah.
Damn, he's giving you no sells on these vicious shots. Plus 130 on Mr. Volkov. Minus 165 on the fighter who just lost to Tybura and now is getting a better fighter. So I'm with you, 2 cents. Not quite as confident, but you made me feel a little better. Main event time. I'm not going to go through these guys' records at all. It's Petr Yan, Merab Dvalishvili. This fight to me is pretty simple. Can Merab, with 25 minutes of control time, win a fight against Petr Yan? I get it. Yan has had some trouble allowing his opponents to just dictate the grappling and not fight it, but he's got to learn here and maybe even wrestle Merab himself along the way in this fight. I got Petr Yan. I think Petr Yan is just going to tool him up on the feet. I'd love to see a knockout, but probably going to be a decision for Petr Yan. I just don't. I think Merab will get takedowns at points. The first round maybe gets dicey, but I just think that the cream separates from the crop as this fight goes. 2 cents.
I'm probably the worst one to ask about this fight, dude. I am one of the biggest Petr Yan stans breathing.
Wow.
So yeah, like I'm all over.
It's been a terrible couple years for you,
dude. I have been wanting to fucking hang out at the bottom of the ocean with no fucking like submersive vehicle, submersible, whatever. Gotcha. So yeah, dude. I think Jan's grappling is better than Merab's striking, and I think low key Merab has a little bit of a dodgy chin. He's normally able to like get himself out of danger going to the grappling. Mm-hmm. Yan doesn't have I think Aljo has made Jan's grappling look worse than it actually is. I think his takedown defense is pretty good. Merab is going to get some takedowns. I just don't think he's going to get the finish. Like Jan's sub defense is really fucking good. Saw that against Aljo. I don't think he's going to avoid getting submitted when he's backpacked to him for 10 fucking minutes and then get choked by Merab. And on the feet, dude, Merab is going to fucking get it, dude. I actually do think Jan's going to knock him out, but I'm a huge stan. But Yan is the better fighter. This one is going to be, man, I do think another reason I think Jan's going to get a knockout is not only has he had the frustration, but him and Merab do not fucking like each other, dude. It is like a Georgian-Russian feud, whoa. And I think that Yan is going to be really pissed off about some of these decisions and the drama with Aljo. I think he's going to take it out of Merab and fuck him up really bad. So, yeah, give me Yan by stoppage.
Yeah, Merab is not Aljamain Sterling. I just want to clear that up for everybody. And I think this fight will make that very clear. Lou?
Yeah, I think Yan gets the KO here. It's only plus 250. I did play Yan round 3, round 4 KO at plus 900 on FanDuel. Also, it's a Petr Yan fight. This is a very obvious live bet after round 1. After he loses the first round, like always, I don't know if the books are going to adjust and maybe you don't get him at a hell of a better price here, but you probably get him at something like minus 150, minus 130 live after 1. I think that's a great price. For DraftKings, though, my God, man, Merab is like 7K. I've never seen him this cheap. He's a must play at this price. You know, even in a loss, if he gets like 9 takedowns and no control time, he's still going to put up points, even if he gets finished late. So, I would avoid playing Yan in DraftKings because of how much he costs. But you almost, that's what I hate about playing lineups. It's you're playing a salary more than you're playing like a win condition. But you have to play Merab at the salary. Again, he gets you everyone else you want to get to on this slate. So
yeah,
the pick is Yan by KO. But a special asterisk that for DraftKings purposes, Merab is must play. And he's going to have the highest ownership on the slate. There's no doubt in my mind. It's going to be 50% owned.
That's probably why they did that. So makes sense. All right. Real quick, I'm going to just give my 5-fight money line Jean Lee parlay. And then I do know Lou has to go. All good. I'm hesitating to do this, but I'm going to put Carlston Harris in there, even though it's a short notice replacement. I just think that he's better than Jared. So putting Carlston Harris in there, even at the minus 260 clip. JJ Aldrich, another line that I think is just justified by the matchup. She's going to tool up Lipsky. Obviously, SD Dumas is in my 5-piece parlay. It's SD, and I have no doubts in this matchup. Ricardo Ramos, for me, takes over Lingo and tools him up. And I am putting Yan in there to cap it all off there. Easy hedge out with Merab by decision, because Merab by finish ain't happening. So that is going to do it for the UFC Las Vegas show. I'll be sure to edit that right now. We'll just go ahead, and it's not UFC Vegas 71. It's UFC just Las Vegas, UFC Las Vegas, from the theater in whatever Virgin Hotels. Lou, what do you got coming up the rest of the week?
I am recording the prop show in 6 minutes with Jake Knocker, who is or Noker. I don't even know how to say his last name. I'm such a pro who does
Best
a lot
in
of
the biz.
does a lot of interviews in the space, and then the Friday happy hour, and then just looking forward to an afternoon of fights and maybe a classy bottle of wine to go with this card. Pairs well with red.
I like it. I like it. In 2 cents, you doing the weigh-in stream?
Yes, sir. I'll be back on Friday. Thank you very much once again for having me. It's always an honor to be on panel here with yourself and Sir Louis Betya. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah, I feel pretty good about the picks on this card. Definitely feel confident in Yan and some of the other spots, but I haven't made any bets yet. If I do, I'll make them official on Friday.
Right on. But all right, that's gonna do it. All 3 breakdowns are on the channel. Got the PFL, LFA breakdowns together because PFL is not getting their own video, at least for the Challenger Series. I have the Bellator breakdown on the channel as well, and so far that card stayed together. Timestamps in the description after this one. Check out Lou and MMA Engines. Check out Just My 2 Cents. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.